Hello. Okay, we're gonna do this in one take because one take is all we got. I recently acquired this unopened package of 12 trading cards from 1990. And there's 12 inside, and I thought I would do a tarot reading with all 12 cards. They're not going to be shuffled. The random selection comes directly out of the pack from the top down to the bottom. So I'm going to open it here, and each card, I looked up a 12 card spread and what each card can be. So this tarot reading is for you. This is your tarot reading. Take from it what you will. It's just a fun game that I'm going to play because it's the weekend, and hopefully it's the weekend for you too, whatever that means. Let's do it. So we're going to do a 12 card spread, kind of like the numbers on a clock. But instead of starting at 1, I'm going to start at 12 because that just looks better in the screen, doesn't it? The first card will be the self, how others see you. Lockheed. Wow, you're a feisty one. People see you as a supernatural force, not to be messed with. Your words have power as though they are coming out of you like fire. Some may see you as a little harsh, but they can also believe in your power. And to awaken your true power, they must be ready to face who you really are. Look at you. Okay, quite a start for this. I'm talking to all the fire-breathing dragons out there. The second card is financial values. This is all about your money and your possessions and your earning power. Mr. Sinister. Damn. Well, I would say he has a diamond on his chest and one on his head. So this can be the calcified danger of becoming too involved with money. See the diamond? He doesn't have a diamond on his head and a heart. He has a diamond and a diamond. So it's as if the love for money has taken over his emotions. He's a little too hardened. So although there's a lot of power to be gained in that, you can see there's no pupils in those eyes. So consider this a caution, unless you like being Mr. Sinister. Third card is travel and communication. A lot of these are upside down, so I'm just going to be turning them around. Travel and communication has like a little story. There's a guy in jail with extra tentacle arms, and someone's interviewing him through the bars. Doc Ock, you were once a brilliant scientist. Why did you turn to a life of crime? I thought it would be a good occupation. Okay, so might as well finish the story on the other side. Say, Doc, an octopus is supposed to have 8 arms. How come you only have 6? I'm a scientist, not a mathematician. Okay, so we can't count. 6 arms, but locked in jail. Making puns. Being interviewed from the outside. Well, this guy looks kind of large, and he is he's got extra arms, but they're made by him. So there's a lot he can do with those arms, but he's locked in prison. And a character like Spider-Man is quite agile and flies around, and he is living the dream that any human would want to travel, where you could just swing through the buildings freely and feel the air. and that comes with its own responsibility. So your travel and daily activities, there may be too many hands at play that lock you into place, and that can also be reflected in his smart aleck attitude, where his, the desire to travel is trying to poke at that to free it. And as you can see, the extra arms are artificial, and they could even be weighing him down. Next card, fourth card, is home life, siblings, family, parents and children. The Fool Killer. Yikes. This is a dark, dark reading. The Fool Killer, it says at top, rookies. So that indicates to me that there's some kind of first beginnings. It's cardinal. And there's a lot of pride. The idea of killing the fool is also part of the tarot. So it's again kind of a locked-in feeling, where the fool willingly falls into the void for new beginnings. The Fool Killer is a little too sure of himself and will mask his identity, which it doesn't say he doesn't have an identity. It's showing that he doesn't want to be seen, that you have no place in seeing this person's identity, and may have even killed the one who is freely falling into the void. His stance is really confident, but it's pretty apparent the shadow that has consumed him. So, how does that play into home? Which one are we on? Home life. Okay. I think it's about being seen and not killing the. It could be the shadow killing the one who is willing to be free. Within the family, within your close partnerships, mostly with like your family though. Siblings, family, parents, children. The shadow can kill the free one. That's why I'm going to go with that. Next will be Pleasure. This is the card of romance, love, holidays, creativity, self-expression. The Pleasure card. Iron Man. The Iron Man is the Pleasure card, and look who's behind him. There's this green woman. Forlorn almost. There is strength. This is kind of like, in terms of pleasure, I would say that there is a lot of ability and strength waiting to be unleashed. Just like the Fool Killer is cloaked and solid, so is Iron Man in a strong metal protector. But you can see the soul there is a soul lingering outside, and there is I'd say a desire for unification, for the armor to loosen and for the soul to integrate. That's the Pleasure card. Next we have health, both emotional and physical. Physical and emotional health. Colossus. That is one good immune system you got there. Impenetrable, bulletproof. Again, another statuesque figure. Slightly immobile again, but in terms of health, I'd say the physical health is strong with this one. But it does leave questions as to emotional. There's not much room for emotional interpretation there. Maybe a little defensive. He's ready to fight. You can see the shoulders are curled in. Even though the chest is exposed, the fists are coming in and are like, you want to get close to this? You want to find out my emotions? Well, I can climb a mountain and be around a room full of germs and not get sick. But who am I on the inside? Next card. After the health card is partnerships, personal and professional partnerships. Thor. All right. Thor, let me look at that a little better. We all know Thor, very popular. He is a Greek god. I think the first character besides the dragon, who he is now on the opposite end of. The first character that's outside of this superhero universe is a Greek god, the god of lightning. Crashing down. There's something very strong about this and otherworldly. Personal and professional partnerships. You are seen as someone mighty, someone who has really great ideas, clear speech. You're in the air. You're part of the elements, the god of lightning. You strike with an austere approach. I would say that there's a lot of austerity there, but there's consistency. Thor's, because he's like a god, right? He would probably be a beautiful looking human, like symmetrical. Although I think if there's any risk, you use a hammer to fix all your problems. So don't treat everyone around you like they're a nail, which is kind of the warning. Thor might be able to temper the oppositional card of the self, how others see you. The way they work together and they're oppositional. Others may see you as wrathful, but your partnerships, I say the hammer and the fire might go together, but the fairness of Thor could be some saving grace. Thor's grace. The next card will be the 8th card, beginnings and endings, birth, death, sex, beginnings and endings. Another villain, Electro. Well, we don't have to call them heroes or villains in this. It's not about that. Electro. Beginnings and endings. Very electric, especially following Thor's personal relationships, personal and professional. To have beginnings and endings in your birth, sex, and death in life, how you approach the new, how you end things, how you approach transformation. It's all very quick. It's electric, throwing thunderbolts. The tempering of fire with a man-made tool can become electricity. If there's any warning, it would be to not let your electricity get to your head. His head is ablaze with lightning, which doesn't let other people in so easily, and it can be more about throwing your own impulses around. The hand reaching up to the divine, though, with the one that is without electricity, that is more receiving, I'd say that is a good quality. Reaching up into the heavens where you find this side of yourself. Within transformation, listening to the unknown is always good. And the Fool Killer can give a caution against not doing that. The 9th card is philosophy, education, dreams, long distance travel. Straight up X-Men. Well, the philosophy of having a team, being close with people. You all respect each other for your gifts that the rest of the world may see as a mutation, the things that make you, in the world's eyes, a freak, can serve as a buffer zone to finding real friends. All the X-Men found each other by coming together under what made them special as humans. and they became ultra-human. As the world saw them less human, they became even more human. So you and your friends, where are we here? The philosophy, education, dreams, long-distance travel. Traveling with close friends, the philosophy of having friends that all have special abilities and are there for each other. And it's us against the world, to save the world. So there can be an othering of you and your friends from the outside. But ultimately you're fighting for good. You believe in good and you believe in community and teamwork. 10th card, reputation. This can bleed into career. Reputation is Fantastic Four versus Doctor Doom. Another sideways card. So, the way it ties in with the X-Men, the reputation of famous battles and the team coming up against the tyrant. Doctor Doom is a tyrant. I believe he, as a mythological creature, in his narrative, he lived in a castle. So Doctor Doom, the metal mask, the one who is too hardened. Think these sides of yourself here that came up in the beginning, the initial parts of self that were locked down, calcified, hardened, and unseen, and maybe slightly too much of a front to the world, can be softened through teamwork, and you can come up against the side of yourself that is too hardened. Your reputation, how this bleeds into reputation is up to you to figure out. I don't know where to go with that. But you can see that reputation is based on teamwork, and if this team started infighting, maybe a lesson within this circle so far is that if you are to be this person amongst your philosophy of teamwork, it can come up as a huge fight. Arms crossed, not listening. You can see he's not fighting them, he's just not listening. He's not being part of it. But they're all dynamic and doing their best. He's just, and see these little speech bubble shapes. Even the words can't be seen. There is no communication. So maybe a good lesson there. What do we have left is the 11th card. Hopes. Friends, hopes, and wishes. Another sideways one. Silver Surfer versus Thanos. Friends, hopes, and wishes. Well, that is a tricky one. Friends, hopes, and wishes. You have, who do you identify with in that picture? I think to have hope would be having hope that the one in you that glides can win over the one in you that strikes out. Much like Spider-Man trying to coax out Dr. Octopus, the locked down, imprisoned one, being tempted by the outer spirit that wants to travel, the soul that wants the freeing of the outside self. The one who murders the potential in the name of shadowy anonymity can be the striking out one, the one that doesn't listen, outside of the better motive of being part of a team. Friends, hopes, and wishes. All of that may be healed through identifying with the gliding one, the Silver Surfer, the idea that you can travel anywhere and shine like a star. What are some concepts of surfing? When you ride waves, and you take what comes and work with it, rather than just try and annihilate it. final card is burdens, restrictions, dangers, the subconscious, and secret fears. Daredevil versus Kingpin. Well, as a final card, which kind of wraps up the whole circle, I must say the message would be the burden of this whole confrontation is like you have to be daring to take down your own inner tyrant. The name of the game is to, and see, it's Daredevil, so he's fighting for good, but you have to not throw away your own inner devil. We can't just be 100% positive and no negative. We always cast a shadow. But it's daring to wear some of your shadow and stay light and mobile and take down the one who is corrupt, heavy, weighed down, selfish, kingpin, wants to own it all. The burden of trying to do that, and it's a restriction because it's conflict, so your own restrictions there can be conflict. The way it plays out in the subconscious is interesting because I know Daredevil is a character that's blind, and he has kind of like a sonar way of, his ears are really turned up, so he works blindly, and it's like an unconscious battle. You have to adorn yourself in the armor to go into the underworld. He's dressed as a devil to sink down into the heaviest, most dense thing and go to battle. And see, his kick is illuminating this person. He's no longer in the shadows. He's no longer got the mask. So it's a conflict of trying to illuminate the calcified, stagnant, heavy, maybe even soulless part of the self and bring it to light. But in order to do that, to become the gliding hope and wish, the celestial being, requires a sinking into the underworld and rising back out. So this burden, I'd say the burden of all this is you have some great power in you. You have electricity. You have teamwork. But all the adornment, the heavy layers and the weight and even the wrath comes at a cost that may even get in the way of some of these things. Although, yeah, your skills are really bright and associated with light itself. So, there you have it, the Marvel card tarot reading.